Good evening, everybody. On this Monday evening, it's not No Punches Pulled, but it is our MMA pay-per-view show. We do one of these for every UFC pay-per-view. No Punches Pulled. Co-hosts are still here with me, though. Don't worry about that. Liam Tully and Jay's Fight Talk. How are we, boys?
Yeah, good. This is called No Kicks Blocked.
This is the weekly Power Slap podcast that we've just launched.
Oh, God. Do you know what, though? I mock Power Slap, but over the past couple of weeks, I've been watching shorts on it, and it's crackers.
I've heard it's insane in being there live and in the crowd.
It's mental. If I could take a shot, I'd have a go myself, but I can't.
Yeah, Dana, you can take cash, card, check, whatever it is. So you've 100%. Had your plug, Dana. Don't worry about it.
But you know what? A lot of people watch it, and they pay out decent prizes, and it's got some big sponsors. I mean, Dana's backing it, so it's going to get some traction anyway, isn't it? Just being a product off the back of Dana.
Yeah, Dana Magic.
100%. But anyway, we're here to talk about.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that's it. We're here to talk about UFC 307. It's taking place in Salt Lake City, Utah, this Saturday night. We know strange things happen in Salt Lake City. We saw Leon Edwards head kick Kamaru Usman to the Shadow Realm. We saw Justin Gaethje head kick Dustin Poirier to the Shadow Realm. Are we going to see a hat trick in Salt Lake City on Saturday?
No kicks blocked. Told you.
yeah. Makes sense.
We've been speaking about this for a couple of months now since the fight were made, and I'll have to stick with my original prediction. For whatever reason, I see a Khalil Roundtree victory. I've said it from the second the fight was made. I just think that his kickboxing style is all wrong. I know that Poatan is an elite kickboxer, and he's up there in terms of being one of the best technical strikers. But Khalil Roundtree just has something about him. He'd never trained Muay Thai before. He was primarily had a wrestling base. I think he went over to Tiger Muay Thai, and we saw a dramatic change in his fighting style. I mean, he was retired not long before he came back and stopped Johnny Walker. He'd sort of toiled with retirement because it just wasn't getting him anywhere. And he's completely changed his style, and he started knocking people out. So, yeah, as I said, I have to stick with my original prediction. I'm not as confident as I was when I first made it, but I will stick with the new.
Yeah, well, I've learned I've learned from the last time I picked Yuri Prohaska to beat Alex Pereira in his last fight, so I'm going to stay very silent. I'm picking against Poatan this time. Liam, how do you see things?
It's an interesting one, boys, and like we've been speaking about this for the last 5-6 weeks, and we were all very surprised to see Pereira fighting again this year. If we're being really honest about it, we know he's carried injuries into both of his last 2 fights. And he seemed pretty adamant that he was going to sit out the rest of 24 and see what Dana and the boys could offer him at the start of 2025. So when this got announced for 307, it's not like it's the MSG card or the big Vegas card at the end of the year. It's no disrespect, it's Salt Lake City. It's not one of the marquee pay-per-views that you pinpoint at the start of the year wanting to be on as a fighter. So it's an interesting one. I am very surprised he's fighting. If his toes have recovered, then, I mean, it didn't matter when they were injured, but if his toes have recovered, then that's a positive thing. That's going to bring his kickboxing back into it more than we saw in his last outing.
Yeah. Doesn't need them, judging by his last fight.
No, he doesn't. But that was going to be my next point. But as he showed last time out, he's got hands of stone as well. He seems to have that power and that speed that just fighters can't deal with at light heavyweight. In terms of Roundtree, I think perfect storm could be the right time for him to be getting this title shot. He's not getting... I mean, you say that's crazy to say. Pereira is red hot. He's one of the hottest fighters on the roster for the UFC at the moment. Yeah. But like we've just said, 3rd fight this year for Pereira, which is fantastic. We know he's been injured. We're all surprised he's taken this fight. Could be the perfect storm. As we said, strange things happen in Salt Lake City, and this would be up there with one of the biggest shocks we've seen, definitely this year in the UFC, if it is to be on the new on Saturday night.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think, Khalil Roundtree, although he's been fighting a level below Poatan, for Dana and Poatan have this unique relationship from what I can see, whereas if Dana picks up the phone to him, it's Shammer and let's go, give me the date. He's fought, what is it? This will be his 3rd title fight in 5 months, if I'm saying that. He was UFC 300 against Jamal Hill. UFC 303, was it, against the one that McGregor, there's meant to be McGregor and Chandler.
303, yeah. 303, 300 and 303, not 307.
saved it when he was doing the PA tour in Australia or something like that, and he saved it with his broken toes, like we were just talking about. Got rid of Yuri Prohaska with absolute ease, and now he's back out again. That was July, so 2 months later, and he's back out again. You know, his activity is absolutely insane. And if you look at I've actually just pulled up his record here since losing to Israel Adesanya, which was remarkably only 18 months ago. It feels like about 4 years ago. I'm not even joking. He's actually fought at light heavyweight 4 times since July 29, 2023. And it's not like he's fought 4 warm-up fights. Jan Blachowicz, Yuri Prohaska twice, and Jamal Hill. He's fought absolute killers in that.
He has to, though. Well, he's, how old is he? 37?
37?
Is it? Yeah. He's got to make.
Talking about going into boxing.
Yeah, and he probably could. You know, it'd be a lot less strain on his body. You know, he don't have to worry about kicks and wrestling and grappling, etc. I think he'd transition into boxing. I have watched a lot of sparring footage of him sparring against boxers, and he usually comes off second best. But I do believe if he concentrated primarily on the boxing stance and distribution of punches, I think he could do it at a very high level. You know, but as I say, he is knocking on, and he's sort of found this green patch since he lost to Izzy. Well, that was a blip because he was on a tear before that, wasn't it?
He was, yeah. He knocked out Strickland in a round, and
I think momentum is very much for him in his kickboxing career. Oh, we've lost Liam, I think. In his kickboxing career, he fought month after month after month after month, and I think he's the type of fighter that fights better when he just goes from fight to fight. I think if he had long, drawn-out camps, months on end in between fights, we may see a difference in him. I think
he's not taking any damage, is he, either?
Nah. He barely takes a shot.
Jamal Hill was
even when Izzy knocked him cold, he literally just knocked him out. He didn't take a good hiding. He took 4 punches, and the last 2 knocked him out. So he's I've never seen him cut. You know, other than the stoppage, he rarely gets wobbled. His defenses are, I won't say impenetrable, but they are as good as, or if not very close.
Yeah, got Liam back now. Yeah, he hasn't took like any sustained beatdowns, has he? Even the first Izzy fight where he won, and he was down on the cards heading into the 5th round where he pulled out a stoppage. You know, he wasn't getting a beating from Izzy. Yes, he got the bad knockout to Izzy, but again, he wasn't getting beat up for 1.5 rounds before that or anything. He just got caught with his chin in the air, and he walked straight in line. He was actually on top of Izzy, and he forgot what was coming back, didn't he? And that was it.
Yeah, I think he just got a little bit complacent. You know, we saw that. He started to let his hands go. He thought he had him wobbled, and then bam, you know, he's waking up. I think when he's on his A game, like the Jamal Hill stoppage, he saw the little shift in Jamal's footwork, needed Herb to get the fuck out of the way because I know what's coming. And you saw him look down, look to Herb, and then he just knocked him out with a half-ass left up.
That was incredible, man.
He's an absolute beast. I wouldn't like him to go up to heavyweight. I don't think he'll be as destructive up there. But at light heavyweight, you know, he's going to take some stopping.
Yeah, I don't think it fares well for him at heavyweight, if I'm being honest. Stylistically, Aspinall's a horrible matchup for him. Jones is a horrible matchup for him.
Aspinall will smash him to pieces.
Aspinall
will just wrestle him. They'll just ragdoll him.
Yeah,
the issue is
submit him. They both submit him, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
The issue is with Alex in this light heavyweight division is there's not a lot of challenges coming through, really. There's not a lot to get his juices flowing, which means he's more likely to make that bad mistake to move up to heavyweight. It's not as if he's still a middleweight and then that light heavy division is there for him to attack. He's kind of sitting around already going, right, what is there here for me? Dricus Duplessis comes up. Yeah, if Dricus Duplessis comes up, I believe he will school Dricus Duplessis. I don't think Dricus can
we'll
make that move up to
205. He killed Duplessis. It's 185 where it's interesting.
He's not yet, so that's what I mean. So we then end up in this position of Pereira's going to move up because he's such a competitor. He's going to want to challenge himself, and Dana and the UFC crew aren't going to stop him from doing it because if he does pull it off, then Jesus Christ, he's the first ever fighter to do 3 divisions in the UFC. And there is enough there from Pereira to say he can have that one moment. Like you just said, the first Izzy fight, He had that one moment going into the 5th round. He was down on the scorecards. He looked like his energy had gone. And then he had that 45-second assault. And he forced Mark Goddard to jump in and stop Izzy on his feet. That's the reality. Pereira will be a dangerous fighter at heavyweight, but the size difference will be too much. I agree with both of you. John Jones, Tom Aspinall, even Curtis Blades would just smother and maul him, and it would be rather predictable for me after 2 or 3 rounds he's been in with those guys. You know the pattern of the fight.
I think, and I agree. I think the only sort of type of heavyweights he would have his way with are the sort of stationary heavyweights, and I'm trying to be as disrespectful as possible, but some of the nutritionally challenged fellows, let's just say, that are built ever so much like myself, a little bit on the portly side. But yeah, some of the less mobile heavyweights, I think he'd have a lot easier time with, because he can keep them at range with his kicks and his striking. Whereas if he gets somebody that's athletic at heavyweight, like Aspinall, Stipe to a degree, John Jones, Curtis Blades, once they get hold of his waist and his hips, he's done for, because they are a lot big. I know he's big, but they are bigger. Yeah. John Jones was a massive light heavyweight. He's just got a thin frame, but he's a big dude. Tom Aspinall, I've stood at the side of him. He is massive.
Oh, he's an absolute unit.
I don't believe that it would be very close. I mean, we'd have a cagey first round, but I think once they got a grip of him, it'd be like Cyril Gann. And Cyril Gann's a big dude, but look how easily John Jones manipulated him, turned him, threw him against the fence, and made him tap.
Yeah, mate, you're completely right. I think whether we want to or not, we're going to see Poatan stepping up to heavyweight more because there's a lack of depth at light heavy.
Yeah, I think so too.
If you give him someone coming back in straight lines, it gives him quite an easy picture to see. He deals with them quite comfortably, even up at heavyweight. As soon as you put him in there with someone that's got jerky movements, doesn't do things in the most conventional way, a la John Jones, Tom Aspinall, that's when he'll struggle, because he'll be on the back foot, and he's not used to being on the back foot. Even against Izzy, when he lost to Izzy, he had been arguably won the first round. It was a nip and tuck first round. You can make an argument either way. He's not been on the back foot in a lot of fights at all.
No, he's not. Definitely not a back foot fighter. He's a flat track bully, isn't he? He presses the action, keeps them within range, moves them from left to right, traps them, and then unloads. And he does it in bursts. Whenever he's going backwards, he gets clipped. Do you know what I mean? He'll always get clipped going backwards. And I think at heavyweight, he can't afford to get clipped because they all hit hard.
Well, that was the beginning of the end for him in the second UFC Izzy fight. He got clipped going back with his back against the cage, left his chin up in the air, and then he was waking up on the floor, wasn't he? So you're absolutely right. He's a flat track bully. When he's going forwards, when he can assert the pressure, when he can exert the pace, he is absolutely on top. As soon as you give it back to him, well, we've seen him get finished by Izzy in that brief second it happened in their rematch. And it would definitely happen with a heavyweight because of their body size as much as anything. They'd maul him against the cage in the first instance before even getting shots off.
Yeah, and I think his age, but you can see the Glover Teixeira influence. So his defensive wrestling is getting a lot better. So he will sprawl his hips, or he'll hold his weight backwards if there's a potential threat coming in. I just feel that age and time is against him. I think if he was in his early 30s and he had 3 or 4 years to grow into heavyweight and learn defensive jiu-jitsu and wrestling, I think we might have a different conversation. But he's not got time to grow into it. So not only would he be a smaller heavyweight, and that would be a disadvantage, I believe his ground game would badly let him down against the likes of John Jones, very similar to Cyril Gann. I'm using him again because Cyril Gann is a high-level kickboxer who is significantly bigger than Poatan. You heard it here first. That will be his introduction to the heavyweight division. We will see Poatan versus Cyril Gann.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. He's fighting Volkov, isn't he? Yeah, at 310 now. He's meant to be at Abu Dhabi, but it's 310 now.
Okay, so mate, it wouldn't surprise me, but look, you can only applaud everything Potan's done. The fact that he's stepping into his third title fight this year, the fact that he's essentially got unlocked the middleweight and light heavyweight division whenever
we've seen it.
It's fantastic.
We've seen it before with those yes men. Alexander Volkanovski is a good example of it. There are a couple of other guys, but him and Poatan have stood head and shoulders above. Izzy's probably another one you could say as well for activity. At some point, it catches up and they get caught, and I don't know if Khalil Roundtree is the guy to do it. We'll find out this weekend. I personally don't think he is that guy. James Fight Talk does, but he'll get caught at some point. They all do. Liam, what's your prediction before we move down the card?
It's difficult to look past Pereira, isn't it? It's difficult to see past another sublime performance of stoppage. But my caveat is the fact he's been injured in his 2 fights this year, the fact we weren't expecting him to fight. Wouldn't be surprised if Roundtree done something special, but it's very hard to go against Poatan.
100%. Yeah. So main event done. We'll move briefly. We won't touch too much.
He won't pick.
No. I always pick Alex Pereira in round 2.
I'm winding you up. You said that at the beginning anyway.
Alex Pereira in round 2. You'll see it on SW Fight Hub a little bit later tonight. Yeah.
Round 2. Ooh.
Yeah. I need to get some views on my short videos, mate. I've got to keep it for. Gotta save it. Anyway, co-main event, boys. Raquel Pennington defending against Juliana Pena, who hasn't fought since the rematch of Amanda Nunes in July 2022. Crazy that she hasn't fought since Nunes retired, because it feels like Nunes has been retired for a long, long time. Well, she has. It's nearly 2.5 years. We're not going to give this fight that much airtime because, Raquel Pennington's won 6 in a row, all decisions. I'm trying to sell it a little bit for those that are listening.
Yeah, you can't, brother. Stop. The hole's too big now.
Those that are listening on Spotify right now, you can't see Jay's Fight Talk with one eye open, one eye closed. But
the reality is,
wrong my eye, to be honest. He's picking on me.
The reality is, when it comes to this fight, I'd rather see Raquel Pennington fighting either Kayla Harrison or Vieira, who are fighting further down.
Man, that's a much better fight, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a much better fight. For one reason, let alone the fact that they're more active than Pena's been since 2022. They're also stylistically a better matchup for Pennington. She's actually going to, against those 2 ladies, she'd be forced to do something other than just try and reduce her way to a decision victory like we've seen the last 6 fights in a row. This fight on Saturday night, we'll probably be live doing a watch along if we choose to. We might wait to the main event, but if we are, we could probably pay half attention to it and know what's going to happen, because the Pennington structure. She sets her stall out in the first opponent out. She lets her strikes go at the back end of the fight, but her output is so low that it's not entertaining to watch. It's not fun to watch. Dana probably doesn't want this as his co-main on a pay-per-view card, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes. Pena's a strange opponent for me. I don't see her being able to do anything to, derail what Pennington's done. It's not exactly been a inspiring championship run, but sometimes being boring and mundane gets the job done, doesn't it? And that's what I think will happen in this fight.
Raquel has fought exactly the same. Her game's not really evolved, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. She nearly won the Ultimate Fighter, didn't she? I think she lost. She lost in the final. She's always had a heavy wrestling base. She's pretty strong. She hits pretty hard. And it's got her to where she is at the moment. As you said, I think she's too big, too strong for Pena. I think she'll just grind her out. I think it'll just be I just think it's going to be a boring fight.
As well, like you said, man. Activity is key. Like Juliana Pena,
I don't think she deserves the shot.
No, she doesn't. But they're so light on contenders. Do you know what, boys? On that point, and Liam already said it. Like, it's an open goal. Throw Kayla Harrison in there. She's going to be a star in the UFC. She already is a star. Just throw her in there. She's going to beat her.
I don't know why they haven't.
Yeah, she's on the same card anyway, so it's not like there's the excuse of, oh no, I haven't got enough time to train. No, I want to go later.
Exactly.
In the year.
Get her in the co-main event. Get more viewers on it because she's a bigger name, and do that. Do we get an issue with Pena pre-fight, and we end up seeing Kayla stepping in last minute Saturday morning? Well, do you know what? She probably would. But
she would.
100%. I think she'd ragdoll any of them. I think Caitlin Vieira's the hardest fight out of the.
Yeah, Caitlin Vieira's a much tougher fight than either of the 2 in the title fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I tell you what, I'd love to see what you've just said happen, Jay. But I tell you what, I think is going to happen. Pennington and Harrison is going to be one of the title fights we see on International Fight Week next year. It won't be main event, but it'll probably be co-main on International Fight Week next year.
Yeah. This is it now. Yeah, we'll cover it when we get to that fight, but that's it now. The winner of that, especially if it's Kayla Harrison's going straight into a bantamweight.
Well, I think are they not number 3, number 2 anyway, aren't they? I think.
Yeah,
Kayla's 3, Vieira's 2.
It's pretty much set up, isn't it? Because they're on the same schedule, as you say. They're on the same card, so they'll have the same rest and whatever it is. But any prediction on the fight, boys, for the bantamweight strap?
I think Pennington, unanimous decision. 5-round unanimous decision.
Yeah. Pennington on points, mate. We know what she's going to do. We could almost predict 5 minutes now if we really wanted to.
I'm with you guys. It's going to be a tough 25 minutes at about 5:32 on Sunday morning, isn't it?
But it'll be a first round stoppage now. We've said that.
Yeah, well, I hope so. That'd be phenomenal.
So do I.
Yes. So anyway, moving away from that one, we've got the one, the only Mr. Jose Aldo. It always makes me feel weird about him fighting at 135 because he dominated at 145 for so long. But he's fighting at bantamweight. Mario Batista's going to be a tough fight for him. That he's a young, hungry bull. 31-year-old, won 6 in a row. He's going to be a tough cookie for Aldo, who's touching 40 now. But Aldo won his last one. Now he won his last one against Jonathan Martinez. He fought Merab before that.
I mean, he did, but it's not Jose Aldo. It's not the Aldo that we saw Uriah Faber look like the Michelin man.
Yeah.
Like TKO by leg stoppage, and he barely uses leg kicks anymore. It's not the Aldo that was unbeaten at featherweight for 10 years until he came up against the anomaly that was Conor McGregor. And I think we all know that had Jose not wanted to take his head off so much, he'd have beat the shit out of Conor, and we probably would never have seen the Conor that we've seen today. But things happen for a reason, and we're here where we are now. I'm surprised he's still doing it at 135. When he said he was making the drop down, I thought it were a one-hit wonder, and here we are. I just don't think he's got enough left to make a run at a title, and I don't believe that Saturday night will be a great night for him, unfortunately, as much as I know what you mean. Love and respect Jose Aldo.
Yeah, I mean, I love respect. Jose Aldo is one of the first champions I saw when I started getting into my mixed martial arts and my UFC, but with the greatest of respects, this is the artist formerly known as Jose Aldo going in there on Saturday night. I would love him to come out with a victory, but this is a young, hungry buck who can see title shots and opportunities ahead of him, and having the name of Jose Aldo on his record is just going to spur him on. And unfortunately, I think this will be the last time we see Jose in the octagon on Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Do you think that's what the UFC have kept him around for now? Do you think he's a name on resumes?
It could be, it could be, but I know what you mean. Mario Batista's not a huge guy to put over. But yeah, there probably are. Let's be honest. Jonathan Martinez, he beat him in his last fight, so I don't want to use the word because he's definitely not, but he's pretty much a gatekeeper, isn't he? Essentially,
that last pay-per-view.
It's a bit harsh, but he is at this stage of his career.
That hurts my heart to think that about.
I know it's bad, isn't it?
It's what it is.
Sorry, if we're really honest about Jose, the last pay-per-view he was put on it because it was in Brazil and it was struggling to do tickets. It was struggling to do pay-per-view points. They put Jose Aldo on there. Ticket sales and pay-per-view points got to a okay level. He won that fight, so he's gone back to them and said, "Look, give me another fight. I want another go." They're feeding him young, hungry fighters. If he comes through them, he'll keep getting the opportunities. If he loses, like unfortunately I think he will in this fight, then he'll sail off into the sunset and he'll still go down as an all-time great. He'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But unfortunately, it's almost as if they brought him back for Brazil to help themselves with the sales, with the pay-per-view points, and he won the fights, and now they've got to do something else with him.
Yeah. What now?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think they had a plan for him. Him winning that fight meant, right, we'll give him another fighter. If he wins this, it'll be like, crap, what do we do now? We need to keep feeding him an opponent. I mean, that's the greatest of respects to him. It's not like they're going, right, you win 3 fights, you're going to get a title shot. He's 38 years old. He's 39 before the end of this year. They're expecting him at some point to lose with the greatest of respect to him. And it's a one fight. We give you fighters based on what you do in each fight. That's how it's working for Jose at this point.
Yeah.
And fair play to him. He still wants to put himself into the fire, but this could be a bridge too far.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think Mario Batista wins. I think he beats him on decision. I still think Jose has that tough grit in him that he doesn't really get stopped overly often or anything like that. But If he does get stopped, I think he might leave the gloves in the octagon.
Was it Merab that stopped him last?
No, Merab didn't stop him.
Did he not? No, I know Holloway stopped him at 145.
Piotr Jan stopped him.
That's it. Sorry, not Merab.
Was that his last stoppage loss though? I can't remember.
Up. Yeah, last stoppage loss was Peter Yan.
Yeah, he had him turtled up, didn't he?
It was a 5-round beatdown or something. It was, yeah, but he doesn't get stopped often, Aldo. So yeah, I think Batista will win a decision in that one. If I'm being honest.
I agree.
Caitlin Vieira versus Harrison, we've covered that. You were right. I think it was Jay who said it, or Liam. One of you, wasn't me anyway. Number 2 versus number 3 in the bantamweight division. Kayla Harrison is a humongous favorite in the fight, just on the UFC's official website here. So no one really giving her a chance. Caitlin Vieira, she's got some decent wins on her record, but step too far for this.
I think so. I think Kayla's, sorry, Liam, I think Kayla's just an all-round better fighter. She's obviously got a strong judo base. She trains out of American Top Team. She's one of their main, I think she's their female captain.
She is, yeah. She ragdolled Holly Holm, didn't she?
Yeah, it wasn't even close. I think that's why Amanda Nunes left the gym, because once she came to the UFC, they were talking about them fighting each other.
Well, she called her out, didn't she? Nunes called her out after she beat Holly Holm. So don't be surprised if the foundations are being laid here for Harrison to win the belt.
It will happen.
Come out of retirement.
I fully think that fight will happen. Amanda Nunes is not done. She just needed a break. She only fought. I think if she'd have beat Pena the first time, she'd have took a break then. But she fought her again because she lost, obviously. Yeah. I think Amanda's refreshed. She's got a new baby. I think she's bored, and she sees, look who's, no disrespect to Raquel Pennington, she's not Amanda Nunes. There's not that much to her in terms of marketability. She's not really that outspoken. She's pretty sheepish on the microphone. She's all, she's just not sellable. And I think Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes is set up for possibly International Fight Week to accompany Liam's fight next year.
I think you could be right with that one, definitely. Yeah, but I think
Dana, give NPP a job.
Yeah, matchmaker's paradise over here. I think Harrison. I think Harrison will win a decision. I don't think she'll finish her.
I think she'll strangle her round 2.
So sub.
Yeah.
Look, Kayla Harrison is a classy fighter, and she is champion and incumbent in that bantamweight division. We all believe, we all feel this is just going to be another step on the way to that on Saturday, and it's almost a case of if she wants to look impressive and go for a stoppage, I'm with Jay. I think she will get a stoppage probably in the second round.
That's how you get a title shot, isn't it?
And she knows that. She knows that she wants to impress Dana and everyone sitting cage side, and she goes out and gets a stoppage. And I think she will. She'll take her time in the first round. She'll see what's coming back at her, and then she'll move through the gears in the second and third rounds and look to get a submission stoppage.
Definitely. Can I just say something? Talking about impressing Dana, do you know Moicano didn't get a bonus?
Do you know what was an interesting point?
How's that work?
I know, because there was some mad KOs earlier in the night.
I know, but come on. The main event, massive underdog. I know. He doesn't fight in, really, and he smashed him to bits.
Yeah, do you know what was a real anomaly about that Moicano-Saint-Denis fight? So Moicano did all that in the first round, and then the second round, Saint-Denis won the second round, then it was a doctor stoppage. So you win the round, then getting stopped by the doctors, that's could be like the first. Normally it's like you've been beaten in that round so badly that the doctor has to stop it. But he actually won the second round.
They could have stopped it at the end of the first, to be honest, though, couldn't they? I mean, those eyes were horrendous.
Money Moicano, man, you got to stick him in with Paddy next.
They are on about doing UK in March, aren't they? Again, it's been talked about. So I think
Paddy's on the Vegas card apparently at the end of the year.
He is, but if they're talking about UK card in March, it's got to have Paddy on it. It's got to have Paddy on it.
That could headline it, Paddy and Moicano. It's going to be a fight.
I think Leon's looking at fighting in December as well. Tom's
Who's Leon
obviously
going to
the
fight,
big-
though? I know we're on a tangent here, but it's a good little debate we've got going. So, yeah, who is Leon? So, Ian Gary and Shavkat are both announced, well, not announced fight news, but they both said that an announcement's coming. So, will
Gilbert
Gary
Burns?
and Shavkat fight?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Gilbert Burns for Leon.
Potentially, but the win does nothing
Venom
for
Page.
him.
Michael Venom Page. Just for the UK.
I don't hate it. Do you know the fight to make, really, and the UFC have missed the boat if they haven't, it's Leon against Ian Gary. That's the fight.
That's the fight to make.
To it. There's, don't like each other. Teams, sell.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it sells. I think Leon will beat the shit out of Ian Gary myself.
Yeah.
At this point, it's not like Leon Edwards got completely, looked completely over the hill when he lost his belt. Okay, he didn't have his best night, but there was still enough there from it. And he just didn't fight the right game plan. He fought into Bilal's realm and he ended up losing the fight. I think
Bilal was sharp as well.
Yeah, he was. I think Leon against MVP, if you want to do it as a UK event next year, that sells as a main event. You've got Paddy there as co-main. I think that's fantastic. That would sell really well. But
it could be a stinker, that Leon against MVP.
That was going to be my next point.
It'd be like Darren Till and Wonderboy.
Wonderboy, yeah, it'd be a stinker, man.
That was going to be my point. And us UK fans,
I've got it. I have got it. Masvidal.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, dude. Masvidal's coming back.
He's got the story. He's on his way back.
Yeah, do it. Leon will take him out, and then you get him back.
An end to it.
I love it. That's the one. Masvidal's coming back to the UFC. So yeah, you got to run that.
If you're going to do it as a fight night main event in the UK, you need it to be someone like Masvidal just to give it something about a fight. If you put him in,
against Diaz rematch, something like that.
Possibly. Maybe. You put him in against MVP, it's a snooze fest and it does nothing for the European market for the MMA. If you put him in against Ian Gary, yes, it's a one-sided beatdown that we would all enjoy, but again, it doesn't give you anything to get stuck into, does it? If you see a fight that one-sided, it does nothing for the market.
Well, it just ruins it ruins Ian Gary's momentum, doesn't it? And does nothing for Leon. So maybe keep them two away from each other, because Leon, as much as Ian Gary rubs people up the wrong way, it sells a lot of tickets and people want to watch him to either lose or win.
He's got a good profile.
If he takes a good hiding off Leon, it just does nothing but dent his momentum.
I'm going to play devil's advocate then with what you just said, Jay. I'd love to see him fight Masvidal. We know the history. Masvidal gave him a free piece and a soda backstage a few years ago. Doesn't do nothing for him, does it? In terms of his actual UFC position.
No, and I believe so. I'm being very contradictory, but I believe that Masvidal's half in, half out anyway. I think they'd just use that to sell tickets, literally just because of the backstory. That's all all it does is close that chapter. In terms of momentum moving forward, it does absolutely nothing for him, mate. So I'm contradicting what I've just said about Ian Gary. What I meant is Ian Gary's at the opposite end of his career to the likes of Masvidal. He's on the up. So if they put him in front of Leon and Leon smashes him to bits, it stops that hype train that they've spent a lot of time and money building. Yeah. And I don't believe they want to do that because they've got plans for Ian Gary, haven't they? They've got plans for him eventually. I know this is going to sound mental. I know we're going off on a tangent, but for some reason, I could see Gary fighting Conor at 170.
I think they're friends.
They're not. Ian Gary's a fan. They're not mates. They've met. Ian Gary's a fan. Conor will fight him. I'm telling you now, he would.
I'm not convinced we see Conor fight again.
Connor's got to fight a few other things before we see him back in a professional environment.
How dare you? I saw him at the weekend on a casino.
He's back. He's back
over as a judge, wasn't he? He was loving life.
I seen him with an unlit cigar at Joshua versus Dubois.
You gotta stand your ground.
Mate.
Find your beef.
What's he calling Taporia?
The little fella. I'm in Marbella on the 12th of October.
Yeah, that was it.
We'll have a crack.
Yeah.
We'll have a
BKFC Marbella, 12th of October.
We'll have a little yoke.
Yeah. We'll have a little knock. We'll have a little knock.
So turn up at the yoke. We'll have a little knock. Turn up.
Oh,
It would be fantastic. It would, if that fight ever was to happen, it would be fantastic to see, because it's the man who made MMA in Europe and Ireland what it is, and sort of the gatekeeper to the next generation, the man that has the potential to surpass what Conor's done. Be amazing in terms of generational and clash of styles.
It'd be awesome. It'd be
I just
awesome.
don't.
I don't really see it happening. But you know what I'm
No.
like about throwing these mad.
Oh, you have to throw the curveballs in there. Finishing off the main card, anyway, boys. Usman Dalodzi against Kevin Holland at 185. Dalodzi beat Anthony Smith at 205 in his last fight. He lost to Imavov, who just beat Brendan Allen at the weekend. Who else did he lose to recently? He lost to one of the other top guys anyway. He's not in the best of form at 185. You have Kevin Holland who beat Olajic by submission in his last one, but he seems to go win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. But he's fun. He's active. Could actually be a fun fight, that one.
Yeah,
I believe it will be. Go on. I mean, go on. I'll let you go first.
Sorry, mate. I was going to agree with what Sam just said. Kevin Holland is a fun fighter. Even when he loses, he still produces performances. And if you want to kick off a main card of a subpar pay-per-view in terms of where the UFC has been recently, then someone like Kevin Holland, who you don't know what he's going to produce, is perfect for it. He does have a habit of going win-loss, like we just said. If you go by that form, he's due a loss in this fight. But look, he seems to have a bit of eye of the tiger, a bit between his teeth. I don't know if he believes he's going to get himself near a title shot at any point in his career, but I think he's ready to give this a good crack. I think he sees this as his last go round realistically and being somewhere in the top 15. So I'd like to think that's going to produce a performance from him. You get to open up a pay-per-view cards. You know there's a good chance of you moving up and having bigger fights next year. I think Kevin Holland's going to grab this opportunity with both hands.
Yeah. I think, he's a favourite in the fight, Jay.
I think, and I think it deservedly so. I think Kevin Holland's sort of a fighter's fighter. I think he holds the record, don't he? Didn't he have 5 fights in a year?
Yeah.
When he sort of burst through, he stopped Jacare from punches from the bottom, and he's had
some stopped as well.
Yeah, he's had some great wins, but he's also had some terrible losses. I think Hamzat ragdolled him.
Hamzat destroyed him. Wonder Boy beat him in a kickboxing match.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll all watch a Kevin Holland fight because
it's fun. It's fun.
He talks to DC and Bisping while they're on comms. He'll be chatting to the other corner. He'll be sticking his fingers up at people in the crowd. He'll be, ordering weed from cage side. The guy's off key, but he can scrap as well. He's not necessarily the best at wrestling, but he's been to DC boot camp, hasn't he? And he's got a little bit better. So I think he deservedly starts as the favourite. And I see him getting either a late stoppage or a wide sort of 30-27 points victory.
I think he'll do it on points, mate. I'd love to see him get a stoppage. I think he's going to be that. I think he's going to be that zoned in to getting the victory and bringing out a performance. It's not going to be safety first, but he's not going to open himself up as much as we've seen him do in the past. He's going to stick very much to what the game plan is from the team, and he'll do that to win it on points. He won't want to take any unnecessary risks. So it may be a more boring Kevin Holland performance, if there's such a thing as that, but he'll still do enough to get the victory and he'll still impress. He just won't leave himself as open as we've seen in other fights, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, you could see that happening, definitely.
Just finishing up then, guys. There's a couple of decent fights headlining the prelims. Wonderboy and Buckley could be a fun stand-up fight. I personally, Buckley's the favourite. I personally think Wonderboy might beat him.
I think Wonderboy will beat him. I don't see anything from Buckley that, he's had a couple of viral moments and, he always talks a good game, but I just don't believe that if Wonderboy can keep him at range, he'll beat him.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Ryan Spann against OSP could be fun as well.
See, I don't know why these aren't on the main card. These are good fights.
Yeah, that is a good fight.
Spann and OSP. I mean, someone's going to sleep in that fight.
Yeah, that's third fight on of the night. Court McGee and Tim Means opens up the prelims. Are we back in 2008?
Are we in Strike Force? What the hell? Have I had a stroke and I'm in a coma and I'm dreaming about 2001? Jeez.
It's a seriously low-level pay-per-view, which we have to be honest, we don't often sit here complaining about the quality of the UFC.
The next few are going to be absolute carnage. So 308, 309,
Do you know what?
310.
This one screams to me that they had a specific low budget, and that's we're getting what we're getting. You know, they've scraped the bottom of the barrel for this one.
Yeah,
filling the pay-per-view quotas for the year, aren't they? They're making sure they fill out what they're assigned to do by ESPN, by their own rules they've set, and that's what we're getting.
Yeah, there's no way that they wanted to make Pereira Roundtree on this.
But, as we lose, Jay. But for me, going back to the Wonder Boy fight, Buckley is the perfect opponent to get Wonder Boy back into a kickboxing striking sort of fight.
Exactly.
After Shavkat, which, let's be honest, we all knew Shavkat was all kinds of wrong for Wonder Boy, didn't we? We never expected Wonder Boy to win that fight, if we're being honest. Buckley is the perfect opponent to get him another W and to see then what the UFC want to do with him in 2025.
100%. But yeah, I think that could be it, boys. Anything else to cover off before we wrap?
Not really. It was just a quick one to preview UFC 307. I think we've got NPP No Punches Pulled on Wednesday. Liam, are you recording Liam's Fight Night picks tomorrow for Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, I'll be recording it tomorrow for Wednesday afternoon. We'll be looking at Nick Ball's homecoming and a couple of other fights on that card.
Is there any other fight? It's a tough
There's a British Commonwealth title fight, so you got to at least talk about that. Henry Turner and Rafferty. There's a couple of fights this weekend, but we get through this weekend, boxing and the UFC, and then it's full steam ahead for the rest of October.
Woo!
Yeah, we'll be back Wednesday for No Punches Pulled. We also have Nick Ball watch along on Saturday night. No doubt we'll be doing some UFC 307 watching at some point during the night as well. Go follow at Liam_Tully9 at Jay's Fight Talk on X. Subscribe to the Jay's Fight Talk YouTube channel. Go catch out Liam's Fight Night picks on STBX. Be out Wednesday lunchtime, Liam, will it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll see everybody next time.
See you later.
Cheers, guys.